story begins with a heavily guarded police transport. Inside, a man named Kane Burgess is being escorted to a hospital following his arrest. His face is covered in scars, hinting at a violent past. During the journey, devastating news hits him. His mother has passed away. The officers allow him a brief moment to see her lifeless body. Looking at his mother's corpse deeply affects Kane, shattering whatever restraint he had left. This painful loss marks a complete turning point in his emotional state, fueling a dark resolve that sets the stage for everything he is about to do next. Driven by grief and fury, Kane wastes no time. While still under escort, he suddenly turns on the guards and breaks free from custody in a brutally violent manner. After overpowering the police, he flees into the streets to seek refuge, eventually making his way to a private, underground bar. Upon arriving at the private bar, Kane doesn't knock. Once inside, the atmosphere shifts. Kane casually walks to the counter, grabs a drink, and begins to overhear the patrons talking. Among them is a man named Toon, who is boastfully discussing the recent murder of a notorious gangster named Rook. Kane's chaotic and disruptive entrance immediately ruins the bar's quiet night, initiating a tense atmosphere. As Kane listens to Toon describe how an unknown assailant ruthlessly killed Rook, he doesn't react with shock. Instead, he interrupts the conversation with a loud, mocking laughter. This sudden burst of laughter instantly provokes the wrath of Toon, the other patrons, and even Bez, the barmaid. They view his reaction as a direct insult, and the tension inside the establishment escalates rapidly toward a violent confrontation.
Yeah, that's right, mate. What the fuck are you gonna do about it?
Who you fucking wanker! Take the fuck back!
Before anyone can lay a hand on him, Kane reaches under his coat and pulls out a deadly double-barreled shotgun, instantly taking everyone in the bar hostage. Nobody moves. Kane then drops a bombshell, claiming he has a direct connection to Lincoln, the powerful crime boss who owns the bar. The standoff becomes incredibly tense until Lincoln's ruthless lieutenant, Hyde, arrives at the scene. Hyde takes one look at the gunman and is shocked to recognize him. The dangerous man holding them at gunpoint is actually Lincoln's estranged brother. The reunion is far from sweet. Kane openly blames Hyde and Lincoln for the horrific injuries and suffering he had to endure in the past. To prove he has absolutely nothing to lose, and to show his deep mistrust of Lincoln's associates, Kane suddenly aims his shotgun downward.
I bet you don't.
Get back! Right!
And shoots a helpless patron right in the kneecap. The room echoes with screams of pain, a violent act that underscores Kane's escalating aggression and proves he is willing to paint the bar red to get what he wants. With everyone terrified and trapped, Kane begins to narrate his dark past, forcing Hyde and the patrons to listen to the horror story they helped create. He reveals his time spent inside HMP Belmarsh, one of the most notorious and maximum security prisons. Kane explains how his background as a highly skilled martial artist became his only lifeline. In a hellhole filled with society's worst criminals, Kane had to fight every single day just for self-preservation.
Excuse me, Kane.
The constant, savage violence inside the prison walls slowly stripped away his humanity, forcing him to transform from an ordinary man into a cold-blooded, ruthless killer just to stay alive. But his life wasn't always supposed to be this way. Flashbacks reveal that years ago, Kane was actually attempting to forge a legitimate, honest life. Desperate for a fresh start, he approached his wealthy criminal brother Lincoln, asking for financial help to start a legal business. Instead of helping him, Lincoln deceitfully dragged Kane into his own criminal empire. Lincoln manipulated Kane into doing a simple job, robbing a target who was retrieving a valuable package for Lincoln's gang. Tragically, this single criminal act led to an absolute disaster. The woman Kane robbed refused to let him go easily. She chased after him in desperation. The pursuit ended in horror when the woman was run over and killed in a brutal car crash. Kane was caught red-handed, arrested on the spot, and subsequently charged with manslaughter. This tragic event officially marked the beginning of his downward spiral into the unforgiving prison system. Once locked away in Belmarsh prison, Kane's life became a living nightmare. Because of his brother's criminal ties, Kane was instantly marked. He found himself constantly fighting for survival against waves of hostile inmates who wanted him dead. The prison yards and cell blocks became his battlegrounds. Every time he defended himself, the fights left him with horrific physical injuries, including a shattered jaw and a scarred face, and resulted in extended prison sentences. The system kept adding years to his punishment for the violence, completely hardening his soul and pushing him to become a heartless monster.
Anyone else?
After surviving years of non-stop assassination attempts, Kane finally discovered the ugly truth. It was his own brother, Lincoln, who had placed a massive 20,000-pound bounty on his head, paying inmates to murder him. During this dark time, a police detective named O'Hara visited Kane, attempting to convince him to abandon his path of vendetta, cooperate, and somehow reunite with what was left of his family. But it was too late. The betrayal was too deep, and Kane remained obsessively determined to seek bloody revenge. The opportunity finally came when Kane learned his mother was dying. He pretended to cooperate, agreeing to give up his quest for revenge on the sole condition that he be allowed to visit his dying mother in the hospital. However, as seen at the beginning of the film, the system delayed, and he missed his chance to see her alive. The grief broke him, prompting him to escape his violent police custody, leaving him with only one remaining purpose in life: to finally confront his brother Lincoln. Back in the present day, the story reaches its boiling point as Kane finally confronts Lincoln at his stronghold. The room is thick with tension as the two brothers face each other. Lincoln's associate, Hyde, makes the fatal mistake of mocking Kane, completely underestimated the beast Kane had become.
Fucking
Insulted and fueled by years of rage, Kane doesn't hesitate. He raises his weapon and shoots Hyde dead on the spot. From that moment on, all hell breaks loose, and Kane's violence escalates into pure chaos. Finally, the stage is cleared for the ultimate showdown: Kane versus Lincoln. With his lifelong revenge finally exacted, Kane stands victorious but mortally wounded, covered in both his own blood and the blood of his enemies. In a final act of twisted justice, he takes Lincoln's stolen wealth and divides it among the remaining terrified victims in the bar. His mission complete, Kane spends his final quiet moments reflecting on his tragic journey before his body finally